All right, folks, my name's Phil Smothermon, and this is my racial autobiography as of Monday, the 19th of April, 2021. I'd first like to honor our past. I find it incredible that the San Leandro Public Library has all this about our history. And the Ohlone, not the Ohlone, but the Jalquin tribe here, which ancestors of the Ohlone Nation will honor their space that we're using today. Let's get this back to where that was. Yay. Black Lives Matter, treating princes and queens magnificently is what we should be thinking about doing. Let me see. I was born on September 11th, 1959 in McAllen, which is kind of Mexa-Texas. My father was career military. My mother she struggled with that all my life. As long as I've known her, she struggled with that. She wrestled with that. But I knew at an early age already that there was another race, and there was such thing as outsiders, and that there were ways of dealing with those that didn't fit with our vision of what America might be. I got slapped in the street drinking out of a water fountain that was marked white and colored. I drank out of the white. I knew that we weren't supposed to drink out of public fountains. And for some reason, I thought that it had been cleaned for white people, and I drank out of it and got slapped anyway. My mom explained it all. It wasn't about race. And that's when my mom started talking to me about race. My grandfather, his best friend, Tony Gonzalez, lived across the street. Tony Rodriguez, lived across the street from him. And I went over there to get my brothers and sisters, and my grandfather came to collect us, and it was obvious to me that that was the first time he'd ever been in that guy's house. And when Miss Rodriguez left us alone, he discovered I was there, and he was kind of embarrassed because he hadn't wanted to come in. She almost drug him in. And I remember him like, it doesn't even smell Mexican here. And I had to ask my mom about that. What does that mean? Let me see where I don't want to get lost here. With eighth grade was here, the movie Shaft came out, and that was my first public middle school. Half the population was in conks and fades, and it was thrillingly intimidating. I remember being, well, because in Alaska, I had an incident with the library. I wanted to research the KKK, and they wouldn't give me any books, and my mom was incensed that censorship was around, and so she got the books for me, and I almost wish she hadn't, because there was some pictures of lynchings in there, and there was one lynching that was a party, and there was a kid that was mugging it up in the camera, and I swear to God, I thought I was looking at myself. It looked like I was at that party. Somebody that looked like me was at that party, and just, it was such a regular everyday event for them. It was shocking. High school was a cocooned event. We were there was 48 of us that did 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, and we were in a dormitory, and Rufus and Andre, and it was all military kids. And I thought we were beyond the color line. And maybe we were in that cohort. Maybe we were. Mr. Hancock was a teacher I had in the senior year. A word to the wise should be sufficient. He's the one that introduced me to, there's lots of revolutionary music out there, but white folk need to listen to white folk. And so it was like Beatles, Revolution, and Taxman, and Bob Dylan. What was it? Neil Young, and some white folk talking about changing a world that was working for us, but it wasn't working for anybody else. Star Wars happened while I was in Germany. I guess that was it. Oh, I'm in Germany. Oh, we moved to Germany in 1974 1984, 2 years after the Munich Olympics, and my mom was a tour meister. We went to see all of this. So I got to see what the eventual outcome of outright racism is and can be. Genocide. April is Genocide Awareness Month. Did you know that? It's also Grilled Cheese Month. Um, Anything else I want to say? Oh, when I joined the military, I got to see the world. Haiti, one of my first tour spots. Baby Doc had just abject poverty, and he's sequestered in that white palace. He would eventually go to France and take all their money with him. The West Wind opened my eyes to the world. I did a lot of reading, and Alex Haley, if you didn't know, is a former Coastie. He wrote the Autobiography of Malcolm X, and that opened my eyes to language and the power of language, and how the powers that be, and how racist America is to the words that we use and how we use them. Not just the laws we have and how we enforce them. I don't know how I'm doing on time. When I got into middle school, I learned that there were kids that Birmingham was celebrated. Emmett Till had been forgotten, not forgotten, just lost to the ages. And there were many years I taught Emmett Till straight in class. I had an issue with a principal and was introduced to the NAACP. They ended up defending me against some federal OCR that the principal brought in, Office of Civil Rights. That was all about the N word. And that's a story you'll have to ask me about later. Where I'm at now, curriculum is either racist or it's anti-racist. And we need to permeate the lesson intentionally with anti-racist. Um, if you're not anti-racist, I think that you're teaching what's been taught for hundreds of years. Yeah, I believe if we spent 3 generations focused on our children, for 30 years, I've been teaching. If we spent 30 years teaching just for and about our kids, if we just did everything, is the law through that lens, is it good for our kids? Or if we spent 1 generation just focus on all of our people of color, the laws are made for the white folk. Let's focus on the people of color. Let's fake it till we make it. If you've ever seen Blue Eye, Brown Eye, it's kind of what we're talking about here. I'd like to talk to you about the Bancroft Research Project that we did. And again, we should bring Emmett Till more into because we're treating our kids, they're killing our kids. Trayvon Martin, since it's just, there's 13-year-old killed the other day, right? Samuel Taylor yesterday, in protest and celebration as a community. I think that we could do very well that way. I think that's where I'm going to leave that. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, I remember how to do this.